People are just so weird. One, I don't know what bullshit they're peddling, but let's use our brains here. One, if someone's trying to program people to the mind output, if something were to happen, it's their fault. Two, if they were trying to program people to the mind output and they were actually programmed people and they were actually giving them access to neurophysiological weapons, implantation weapons, or even a gun, if that's actually true, it would be their fault because people who are programmed to a computer or a game or a mind output should be in a psychiatric center and they shouldn't have access to guns or weapons that can kill people. So whoever's giving them access to that would be liable. Not to mention, if there are people who are actually programmed and they were programmed to mind output where anything could just happen, and especially in an environment where people are assaulting me daily, committing crimes, shocking my heart, shocking my genitals, trying to coerce negativity or self-defense or whatever in the mind output. Anyone giving people who are programmed access to it, and then also giving them weapons and neurophysiological weapons, implantation weapons, it would be their fault. If they're programmed, don't give them access to the mind output. If they're programmed, don't give them access to weapons or guns. It'd be their fault. Let's use our brains. But nothing happened. They just make this shit up and try to make up retarded arguments. But yeah, it would be that guy's fault. And if you're an educated guy and you're programmed, you wouldn't be a moron and give yourself access to weapons or technology because you could harm someone if you're programmed. Let's wake up. So who's falling for this bullshit? And who's buying these guys' nonsense? We have brains for a reason. Let's use them. And these guys aren't programmed. They're just criminals making up some lie to idiots saying, oh, we were programmed. That's why we did X, Y, or Z. If something actually did happen. Yeah. Key point. Not to mention the people committing crimes on me and putting me in fear of my life where I think of having to defend myself or whatever. I would say it would be their fault too. And the people not arresting those guys, it'd be their fault too. Key point. Nothing did happen, but these guys are just so full of shit, they just make shit up. But yeah, anyone giving people access, if they're programmed to mind outputs or programmed to X, Y, or Z, anyone giving them access to quote what they're programmed to, it would be their fault. If X, Y, or Z could influence their behavior, which it really can't. They're just full of shit. But let's use our brains. Praise Jesus.